Jack had a pair of eyes that let him see exactly how much time someone had left to live. One day on the subway, he suddenly noticed that every passenger had turned transparent, an unmistakable sign that they were all going to die soon. Shaken, Jack fled to a nearby park, desperately wondering what would kill them. As he sat there, he saw that almost every child at the local kindergarten had also become transparent. He picked up a flyer lying on a bench and discovered that the very next day the school was holding a spring field trip and the meeting point was the same subway station he'd just ridden through. In other words, those kids were fated to die for the same reason as the passengers he'd seen. Then Jack remembered that his girlfriend rode that very line to work every morning. He couldn't bear to think of those sweet children dying or of his girlfriend meeting the same fate. He raced home and, just as he feared, found her hands had started to go transparent. Without a second thought, he threw his arms around her and lied, "Let's get away tomorrow, just take the day off and come with me on a trip." She agreed. Next, Jack called the kindergarten to beg them to cancel the outing. The principal, however, brushed him off as a lunatic. Determined, Jack planned to go in person the next morning. But at dawn he received a terrified text from his girlfriend. Her boss had refused her leave request, and she was already on her way to the station. Panic-stricken, Jack sprinted toward the subway entrance, vowing to stop her at all costs. When he arrived, he watched in horror as she boarded, and then turned transparent before his eyes. He flagged down a taxi and raced to the very next stop. The train was still approaching. Scanning the platform, Jack spotted a massive crane, and its operators had also gone transparent. Suddenly it all clicked. The crane was about to collapse onto the tracks, causing a head-on collision with the oncoming train. Without hesitation, Jack fired a flare gun to clear everyone off the platform. Then he leaped onto the tracks himself, resolved to force the train to stop with his own life. Onlookers stared in stunned silence as Jack stood in the middle of the rails, waving his flare. Miraculously, the subway screeched to a halt just in time. Behind it, the crane came crashing down exactly where Jack had been standing. Every passenger was saved, and Jack collapsed onto the tracks, his sacrifice having averted a tragedy.